The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for his question. And I note the honourable member lives in an area which has large-scale farming and obviously one of the largest electorates in Australia, certainly the largest electorate in South Australia, and a person with extensive farming experience. Mr Speaker, it's good to note the returns that we are getting as a manifest expression of the good economic management of this side of the House in the agricultural sector. We note that, as the latest figures show, Australia's economic growth is around about 3%, which is actually better than the OECD average, and that is also a sign of the overall management of our nation. But the gross value of farm production for the financial year ending 2015-2016 is predicted by ABARES to be at 9.3%. This in itself is obviously 3 times better than the national average growth across the whole economy, and obviously vastly 4 times better, at least, than the OECD growth. And this is what's happening in our nation now. Livestock is another classic example in this, which in the financial year we are looking at 13.3% gross value in livestock production increase. This in itself is going all the way back through the farm gate and giving us a net average farm cash income of $179,000 from gross income of around about $519,000. This is the highest, Mr Speaker, in 20 years, and shows that we are actually standing behind and delivering when we say that we promised and we are delivering a better return through the farm gate. Of course, the difference between those two figures, the around about $340,000, is the money that is going to the farm businesses, to the hardware suppliers, to the fuel suppliers, to all the other sections in those regional towns, boosting their economy as well. This economic narrative is we stand behind this economic narrative with our white paper, which is delivering up to $250 million a year in concessional loans to help those in droughts. We've got the country of origin labelling, which we are bringing forward. We've got the ag commissioners that are now residing overseas to draw that product through. We have a new ACCC commissioner in Mick Keogh. Today we announced for Bothwell $31 million to increase the water infrastructure there in the seat of Lion. Also in Riverina and Farrer, we announced a further $12 million for irrigation infrastructure there, actually building the architecture that stands behind agricultural production. And finally, you said, is there any threats to this? Well, quite obviously, a threat is a side of government, the Labor Independent Green side, which at this point has never come to this dispatch box and actually talked about an agricultural policy. Our second biggest export in this nation after iron ore, and they can't even give it the dignity